This lecture is planned to discuss Weiss molecular field theory. So we are familiar with magnetic susceptibility for paramagnetic material, which varies with temperature in this fashion. So along y-axis we have magnetic susceptibility, along x-axis we have temperature. So it is like a hyperbola. However, in the case of ferromagnetic material, we have magnetic susceptibility varies according to equation number 1. So this line, dash line represents transition temperature, which separates ferromagnetic sample from paramagnetic one. So beyond this temperature, you have variation of magnetic susceptibility like paramagnetic material. So this is what the behavior of chi for ferromagnetic substance. So in this region, so your ferromagnetic material has a magnetization, that is spontaneous magnetization. In absence of external magnetic field, there is a residual magnetization in your ferromagnetic material. That is why this ferromagnetic material is different from your paramagnetic material. So we would like to derive this equation number 1 using mean field theory. So in this mean field theory, what we do, we ignore fluctuation which are prevailing in this spin system. So we consider, say, n spins are there. So we consider one spin out of n spin, and this one central spin is assumed. The central spin is assumed in the average field of remaining n minus 1 spin. So suppose this m dash is the magnetic field due to remaining n minus 1 spin, that we call as a molecular field or internal field because of n minus 1 spin. H0 is external magnetic field applied onto the magnetic sample. So He is the total magnetic field that is being experienced by your central atom. So we can solve, we can calculate magnetization of this sample as well as magnetic susceptibility of the sample using following approach. So in the mean field theory, what we do, we average out fluctuations. So there is a central atom, say SJZ, for which we are calculating Hamiltonian and correspondingly energy of the spin system in presence of external magnetic field H0 and a internal magnetic field HM. So this is your Hamiltonian written for SJZ. So minus G mu 0 H0 SJZ minus 2J SJZ sum over K12 and SKZ. So this is basically summed over all possible options of K, which is running from 1 to n. So we can write this term Z SKZ for K1 to n as a G mu 0 HM. This is the average field due to remaining spins, spins excluding SJZ. So this is mathematical simplicity. So average field we wrote in terms of G mu 0. Mu 0 is magnetic susceptibility of this free space, and G is Bohr magneton. So your this Hj, Hamiltonian of jth spin, is written minus G mu 0 H0 plus Hm SJZ. That is minus G mu 0 He, that is effective field felt by SJZ spin. So energy you can write for this SJZ spin, that is minus G mu 0 HEMS, where MS has orientation, possible orientation, that is varying from minus S to plus S including 0. So this SJZ we can also write SBS of eta at any temperature T, where temperature is written in terms of inverse temperature, and this eta is G mu 0 He. G mu 0 He is total magnetic energy of this SJZ spin, and beta is a inverse temperature. So this is scaled energy, magnetic energy is a eta factor. So here Bs of eta is a Brillouin function that is written in this manner. So at any temperature T, how this spin can orient themselves, that we can write in terms of this Brillouin function Bs of eta at any temperature. Its value is 1 upon S square bracket in a small bracket S plus half cot hyperbolic of S plus half into eta minus 1 by 2 cot hyperbolic of half of eta. So we can solve we can solve this equation, that is equation number 4, self-consistently, to get value of say G mu 0 Hm we are writing. So this G mu 0 Hm, that is equation number 3, that is nothing but now it is 2jns bs of theta. 2jns bs of theta. This value you are writing 2jns bs of theta. This is left hand side, and G mu 0 Hm, that is here. So and eta is nothing but G beta Z mu 0 He H0 plus Hm. This is Hm. This term is Hm, not He. So eta kt, that is equal to beta Z mu 0 H0 plus Hm here. Sorry. So eta kt from this equation number 9, eta kt, that is G beta Z mu 0 H0 plus Hm. So from there we have this Hm we can write. So Hm is nothing but this beta Z mu 0 we can bring left hand side in the denominator. So eta kt upon beta Z mu 0 minus H0, that is written from equation number 10. So we have Hm from equation number 11, we can get from 10. So using this Hm we can determine average magnetic field or internal magnetic field or molecular field because of remaining spin excluding the central one spin, central spin. So this we can rewrite further, substituting value of Hm in this equation, that is equation number 8, we have G mu 0 eta kt upon beta Z mu 0 minus H0, that is equal to 2 jns bs of theta. Okay, this is here. So from 12 you can determine value of bs of theta. So we can add bs of theta, that is nothing but G mu 0 upon 2 jns, okay, in the denominator, eta kt upon beta Z mu 0 minus H0, that is equation number 13 we have. So bs of theta we have written in the equation number 13 by some modification in the equation number 12. This we have shown here. This is your bs of theta, kt upon 2 n js eta minus G mu 0 0 upon kt. So this we have plotted along say y axis. Eta we have plotted, that is magnetic energy divided by thermal energy along the x axis. So this is what we have, graphical representation of this Brillouin function. This is the Brillouin function in a straight line that we have got using idea of self-consistent approach to get molecular field. So we are basically working on graphical solution to determine Hm, average field that is being felt by your central atom, spin. So we can determine Hm. When we have Hm, we can determine magnetization of the sample. So when eta is 0, eta 0 is a trivial solution, remember. So see this straight line, that is bs of eta kt upon 2 njs within bracket eta minus G mu 0 H0 upon kt. This is the straight line. When you have external field H0 is 0, it will pass through origin. It will pass through origin. For H0 non-zero value, all the possible values of H0 you consider, your bs of eta will be parallel to this line which is passing through origin. So for any non-zero H0 value, any non-zero external field, any non-zero value of external magnetic field, your this line bs of eta will intersect x-axis as well as y-axis. Therefrom you can determine G mu 0 H0 upon kt as well as this term G mu 0 H0 upon 2n js. So this is the intercept along y-axis, this is the intercept along x-axis. So from there you can get value of H0 using equation number 11, I think. Yes, this 11. You can determine Hm. Also you can get where there is an intercept or any non-zero value of external magnetic field, where there is an intercept, these two curves intersect each other, you have this condition satisfied. Slope of this curve, Brillouin function, and slope of this straight line, it should match. Then only it will intersect at any non-zero value. So from there you have divided by eta of Bs eta that you can determine from this curve, straight line. So this is the prefactor of your eta function, eta. So this is kt upon 2njs, and also from Broughton function Bs of eta, eta very less than 1 value, you have its value 1 by 3 s plus 1 eta. This you can get from this relation. So cot hyperbolic of y for eta very less than 1 we can expand in this manner. Okay, cot hyperbolic of y for y very less than 1 you can expand it in this fashion to get its value 1 by y plus 1 by 3 y of square. And also you can substitute this cot hyperbolic of y, you can say cot hyperbolic of eta value for eta very less than 1 in this Bs of eta function that is given here. In the equation number 7 you can get value of Bs of eta, eta very less than 1, that is equal to 1 upon 3 s plus 1 eta. So differentiating Bs of eta with respect to eta, you will get 1 upon 3 s plus 1. So slope of this curve, that is Broughton function, this function Broughton function is 1 upon 3 s plus 1, 1 upon 3 s plus 1, this is 1 not half, 1 upon 3 s plus 1, this is 1, please remember this is 1. And the straight line has slope kt upon 2njs. So from there you can get value at which it will intercept, that is ktc, that is 2 by 3 equal to that ktc, that is equal to 2 by 3 njs s plus 1, this is 1 again, remember here it is 1 and this is also 1. So from there you have ktc. Again remember t goes to 0, eta will go to infinity, eta is inverse, eta contains inverse temperature, so t goes to 0 means eta will go to infinity, and of course Broughton function has value 1, it has nature like this. So it large value of eta, it will saturate to 1. Now from here, from this relation, these two slope of Broughton function and slope of straight line, it should match. So from there you have 1 upon 3 s plus 1 eta, that is nothing but this is your Broughton function, eta very less than 1, and this is your straight line kt upon 2njs eta minus g mu 0 h0 upon kt. This we can solve now. So from this relation 1 upon 3 s of 1 s plus 1 can substitute in the denominator to get this term in the denominator, that is nothing but 2 by 3 njs s plus 1, this is 1 again, remember this is 1, this term is 1, this is not half, this is 1, so this is also 1. So ktc nothing but 2 by 3 njs s plus 1. So this you basically you bring this term 1 upon 3 s plus 1 in the denominator in this side, so you will have eta, that is nothing but t upon tc, this kt upon ktc, k cancelled out, so t upon tc eta minus g mu 0 h0 upon kt. So from there you have value of eta, that is nothing but g mu 0 h0 upon k t minus tc. From there you have average magnetization, now we can write. So we have now value of eta, now we can write this average magnetization in terms of eta. So we have this average value of monocular field is n z mu 0 s bs of eta. Bs of eta is 1 upon 3 s plus 1 eta. So from there we have average magnetization as g mu 0 s 1 upon 3 s plus 1 eta. So this eta is now known to us. From graphical solution we have hm is known. So from there we have this magnetization, that is ng mu 0 s plus 1 upon 3 into value of eta, that is z mu 0 h0 k t minus tc. This value eta we have substituted from equation number 22. So from there you have average magnetization divided by external magnetic field, that is n g square mu 0 square s plus 1 s upon 3k t minus tc. So term excluding t minus tc is written as capital C. So this term excluding t minus tc is a capital C. So from there we have chi, that is average magnetization per unit external magnetic field is nothing but magnetic susceptibility of your specimen, that is equal to C upon t minus tc. This is Curie-Weiss law. So the Curie law you have studied for parametric substance, that is C upon T, but Curie-Weiss law is C upon T minus T, that is for C upon T minus T, that is for ferromagnetic material where there is a domains, there is a magnetization in absence of external field. So because of this spontaneous magnetization, or there is a residual magnetization in the sample, and which discriminates your ferromagnetic material from paramagnetic material. So this completes your Curie-Weiss law.